Ever feel like you need like a decoder ring or something just to make sense of a resume? 30 years on like 2 pages. It's like, where do you start?
Totally. It's like, I don't know, judging a movie by the 2-minute trailer, right? You get a glimpse, but you miss all the good stuff. The nuances.
Exactly. So today, we're hitting fast forward on that movie. Deep dive time into the career of Owen Holt. This guy, Owen, his name keeps popping up in the L&D world. And let me tell you, this isn't like your average, I made some PowerPoints L&D story.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're talking instructional design, e-learning, talent development, leadership development, even, believe it or not, a little sales sprinkled in. This is about the whole journey, not just, the final page.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. Owen's career, it's not like a straight line. It zigs and zags, which I kind of love. You can tell it's about this drive to, actually make an impact. He uses this phrase, I wrote it down, business impact-driven solutions.
Okay, hold on. Let's unpack that a little. Business impact-driven solutions.
It sounds impressive, right? But what's it actually mean, though, when you're talking about, like, someone's actual career,
For me, it tells me Owen isn't just like going through the motions of L&D, like just designing a course because someone said, hey, make a course. He's thinking about the bigger picture, how does his work actually translate into results? Make a difference for the company. Enable people to do their jobs. Enable customers to use a company's products. We're going to see this over and over again as we go through his career, by the way. But yeah, it starts way back, even his first role, Fidelity Investments. Late 80s. Okay, so pre-internet boom, it's a whole different world for L&D, right? So Owen jumps in, senior learning and development sales trainer, and get this, he's there for like almost 10 years. Talk about dedication.
And I want to emphasize, this isn't just about like showing up and doing some pre-made training sessions. This guy's already leading teams, managing the creation of entire training programs, and most importantly, we see that direct impact on sales revenue at Fidelity. Fidelity, which, let's be real, Fidelity, a huge name in finance, high-pressure environment, results matter, that business impact thing, evident right from the get-go.
And then things take a turn. I did not see this coming. He goes to a software company, Cofinity, but here's the kicker. Product manager and customer training program manager, 2 hats at once. Is this like a common L&D thing?
Not really. And this is where things get juicy. Product management. You got to understand what customers need, prioritize features, make sure people actually use the product. Those skills, they actually transfer surprisingly well to L&D. To me, it screams that Owen was already thinking way beyond like your typical training methods.
It's like he's got a foot in both worlds, right?
And certainly driving the training. But also, on the other side, getting those requests, really getting the business needs at like a deeper level.
Exactly. And another thing, might seem small, but it's huge. Vendor management. He's at Cofinity, right? Responsible for that. Does it again for multiple companies after that. Building the training tech stack. Doesn't sound glamorous, but think about it. Negotiating contracts, managing those relationships, understanding how software buying even works. That's serious business acumen, invaluable in L&D. So we're seeing a pattern here. Leadership, impact. Being able to adapt. Early 2000s now. Owen lands at CUNA Mutual, another finance giant. And what does he do? 2 hats again. Sales competency owner and field sales training team manager.
And the scope here, it just explodes. He's tasked with revamping their entire sales onboarding process. We're not talking tweaking a PowerPoint. Okay, this is CUNA Mutual, a Fortune 500 company. This is like a fundamental shift in how they approach sales training across the board.
Revamp takes on a whole new meaning when you're dealing with that kind of scale. It's easy to just skim those resume bullet points, right? But once you get the context, the potential impact, that's when you see what Owen's really capable of.
100%. And let's not forget, he's not just designing this stuff in a vacuum. He's managing a whole team of trainers. All over the place geographically, different locations, time zones, working styles, that adds a whole other level of complexity. Tells you he can lead, motivate, keep everyone on track, no matter where they are.
So Owen's honing his L&D skills, leading teams, making a real impact on revenue, even dipping his toes into the product management world, and then Dell, global tech giant. What does this chapter tell us?
I think Dell is really where this experience with, big projects, really complex stuff, that's where it shines through. We're not just talking about, here's how to use the new software, Yeah, he's leading the training for these massive company-wide transformations, global scale.
Whoa, hold on. Global transformations? That sounds intense. What does that even look like in the L&D world? Give me an example.
Okay, so picture this. Dell, they're everywhere. Tons of countries, all different kinds of employees, languages, ways of doing business. Leading training for a transformation on that scale. It means making sure everyone everywhere is on the same page, understanding the changes, able to actually make it happen. That takes serious strategic thinking, being able to work across cultures.
Right. It's not just about, knowing the training material. It's almost like, I don't know, international relations or something.
That's a good point. And you've got to be able to communicate clearly across all levels of the company, from the top down and the bottom up. This isn't just L&D. It's project management on a global scale.
Like conducting an orchestra, but instead of music, it's like new ways of working or something.
Exactly. And this is where, again, that whole business impact thing comes back.
Yeah.
These transformations, they weren't just about checking a box. They were about making Dell work better, more efficiently. Ultimately, yeah, it's about enabling the bottom line.
And it's not like he did one of these and called it a day, right? Owen was at Dell for over a decade, leading training for multiple huge global initiatives. That says a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all of this, it sets the stage for what he does next, which honestly took me by surprise a little. He dives into AI, specifically its role in learning.
Okay, yeah, this is what I've been curious about. We went from fidelity, pre-internet, to global transformations at Dell, and now we're talking AI. That's a big jump. What does this tell us about how Owen approaches L&D?
It tells me he's not afraid of what's new. He doesn't just adapt to new tech. He becomes like a thought leader, figuring out how to use it in learning and use it well.
So not just using, AI-powered learning platforms, but actually shaping how people are even thinking about AI in the L&D world.
Exactly. So look at his role at Khoros. Big company, over 1,000 employees all over the world. He's manager of talent development. And this is where that business impact focus is really front and center. He's not just delivering training. He's shaping the entire L&D strategy, making sure it connects with what the company needs to achieve and, crucially, measuring the impact. Not just gut feeling, but actual data, KPIs, the whole 9 yards. And he's exploring the latest technologies to do that.
So he's got that strategic mind, always thinking about how L&D can actually drive those business outcomes. Not just, hey, come sit in this training.
Right. And it's not always easy, by the way. While he's at Khoros, they go through a huge company merger. That's a recipe for chaos, right?
Yeah.
Different company, cultures clashing, uncertainty, the works.
Oh, yeah. Mergers are tough, and everyone's worried about their jobs too. What role does L&D even play in a situation like that?
Crucial, actually. And Owen steps right up. He designs and delivers training programs specifically for these challenges. Difficult conversations, embracing change, giving people the tools to handle all that messiness.
Wow, so it's not just technical skills, product knowledge. It's about the human side of things too. Understanding how change impacts people and giving them ways to cope.
Exactly. Tells you something about his emotional intelligence, and his ability to think ahead, see those needs before they become big problems. And even amidst all that, he finds time for new tech. Introduces LinkedIn Learning as a development platform. The guy's a machine.
Always looking for ways to make things better, huh? Whether it's tech, new approaches, or just dealing with the human side of things, which, let's be real, is often the hardest part.
No doubt. And that drive to innovate and adapt. Even more clear in his next role, Q2. Big player in fintech.
Okay, so now we're talking about an industry that's all about speed, constant change, new tech all the time. What does Owen bring to the table there?
Fintech, it's like the Wild West of L&D, right? Everything's moving so fast. But at Q2, He's hired as a senior manager, people enablement and training, mouthful, right? But basically, he walks in and he has to build everything almost from scratch.
Oh, wow. So not just leading training anymore, but designing a whole people enablement system.
Exactly. Building the instructional design team, the training delivery team, and integrating knowledge management into learning. He's creating something that can actually scale, that can grow with the company. That's huge.
That takes some serious vision to be able to see that big picture from the ground up.
Right. And get this, he implements this like 30, 60, 90-day performance report card.
Yeah,
But for support new hires, it's like, boom, hit the ground running, here's how you're doing.
I love that. It's like instead of waiting for things to go wrong, you're constantly checking in, making sure everyone's on track, providing support early on before they even know they need it.
Exactly. And it gives you data, right? You can see what's working, what's not in those crucial first few months. But remember how we talked about Owen and AI?
Oh yeah, he's not just like okay with it. He's out there advocating for it.
Right. At Q2, he doesn't just use AI in content development. He writes an article about it.
Yeah,
Brainstorming with AI in TD Magazine, which, by the way, if you're in L&D, you know that magazine.
it's like the who's who and what's what of the L&D world, right? So he's not just using the tools, he's analyzing them, thinking about best practices, becoming like the go-to guy for AI and learning.
Exactly. And this is where I think that whole product management experience comes full circle. Think about it. He understands how products get made, the life cycle, what customers and people really actually need. And he combines that with, decades of L&D expertise. Plus, he's got his finger on the pulse of what's next. That's a powerful combination.
So we've gone from training rooms at Fidelity to global transformations at Dell to like AI and enablement thought leadership at Q2. That's quite the journey. As we wrap up here, what's your big takeaway from all of this?
I think the big takeaway is that Owen's career, it's not just about L&D. It's about navigating change, being adaptable, always looking for those connections between learning and, the bottom line. That's what makes him so fascinating and I think so valuable in today's world.
Absolutely. It's easy to look at a resume and just see, a list of jobs, dates, titles. But when you dig deeper, you see the story in Owen's story. It's about being a leader, an innovator, and someone who understands that learning has to deliver real results.
100%. And that's the beauty of these deep dives, right? It's not just about one person's career. It's about giving you, the listener, a new way to think about what's possible. Maybe it sparks an idea for your own career or your company. Maybe you are inspired to make Owen an offer. That's what we're all about.
So that's Owen Holt, from Fidelity to AI, a true pioneer in the world of L&D. A resource your company would greatly benefit from securing. If I were you, I would reach out to him today. And that, as they say, is a wrap.